In today's lecture, we're going to begin talking about aerobic cell respiration. So at the top here, you can see the equation for aerobic cell respiration. So you start with the reactants glucose and oxygen, and then the products are carbon dioxide, water, and then ATP. So with aerobic respiration, the first step or stage is always glycolysis, which we previously discussed, and I'll review it. And then after glycolysis, the pyruvic acid that's made is going to enter into the mitochondria and go to step 2 or stage 2 called the Krebs cycle. Then from there, the last step of aerobic respiration or step 3 or stage 3 is known as the ETC, the electron transport chain. If you guys can recall from a previous lecture, regardless if we're talking about aerobic or anaerobic cell respiration, step 1 is always glycolysis. So again, glycolysis happens in the cytoplasm outside of the mitochondria. One glucose molecule is going to enter, and you're going to then make 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, or also known as pyruvate. You're also going to get a net gain of 2 ATP, and then you're going to produce 2 NADHs. These ATPs that are produced are used right away by the cell. The pyruvic acid is going to move on to the next step of aerobic respiration, which is called the Krebs cycle. And the NADHs that are produced are going to go right to what's called the electron transport chain, which is step 3. In this diagram, you can see the 2 pyruvic acids, if there's oxygen present. So remember, with oxygen would be aerobic respiration. Those two pyruvic acids are now going into the mitochondria, where they're going to be headed for what's called the Krebs cycle, which is step 2 of aerobic respiration. So after glycolysis, these pyruvic acids enter into the mitochondria. So here's the mitochondria structure. It has an inner and an outer membrane. The inner membrane is folded. The inner membrane folds are known as cristae. And then the very inner portion of the mitochondria, it almost looks like a liquid, almost like a lazy river, that is known as the matrix. So inside the matrix is where the Krebs cycle is going to take place. And then in the inner membrane folds, known as the cristae, is where the electron transport chain is going to take place. So you're going to see me often abbreviate that as ETC, for electron transport chain. Now, in between the inner membrane and outer membrane, there's a little bit of a space. It's called the intermembrane space. So on some of the diagrams, you may see what's called the intermembrane space. The ultimate goal of cell respiration is to break down glucose and get out the energy from it in the form of what's called ATP. So we're trying to produce ATP. Now remember, the first step was glycolysis. That's where initially the glucose starts to break down, and it becomes 2 pyruvic acids. Well, now these pyruvic acids have now entered into the mitochondria, specifically they're in the matrix, and they're now going to be further broken down in what's called the Krebs cycle. So again, the Krebs cycle takes place in the matrix portion of the mitochondria, so that looks like the lazy river in this diagram. You're going to see the pyruvic acid, which was a 3-carbon, from glycolysis is now going to be broken down further to release more carbon dioxide as waste. You're going to produce more NADHs, which is an energy molecule that was made when hydrogens and electrons attach to NAD+. And then you're going to make more ATP, and now you're going to make another high energy molecule called FADH2. So again, that's another electron carrier. When hydrogens and electrons attach to what's called FAD+, you then produce FADH2. So the NADHs and the FADH2s that are produced in this process are then going to be used in step 3 of aerobic cell respiration, which is called the electron transport chain. The ATP that's produced here is going to be used right away by the cell to do any type of work. So for example, we went over active transport. Remember, active transport is when substances move from low concentration to high concentration. So they'll say against the concentration gradient, and it requires energy. So the energy is going to be in the form of ATP. Now there's 2 parts of the Krebs cycle. What ends up happening first is the 3-carbon pyruvic acid becomes what's called acetyl-CoA. That's a 2-carbon. And that's what's actually going to start the cycle, and then it actually goes through the cycle. So the first part is breaking the pyruvic acid into what's called acetyl-CoA. when we look at the actual diagram of the Krebs cycle, you're going to see the pyruvic acid first breaks down into what's called acetyl-CoA. And then the first molecule that's going to be produced in the cycle is known as citric acid. So citric acid cycle is the other name for the Krebs cycle because it's the first compound that's produced in the cycle. As we go through, again, pay attention to the inputs and outputs. So you'll see arrows going in, that would be an input, and then the arrows coming out are the outputs. So the things that are being produced in the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle is going to be carbon dioxide, NADH, FADH2, so they're like high energy molecules, or like charged batteries, and you're also going to see 2 ATPs being produced. You're going to see 1 per turn. So you actually have to go through the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle twice because each pyruvic acid goes through it. So remember, at the end of glycolysis, you have 2 pyruvic acids produced. So 1 pyruvic acid is going to start to go through the cycle and be broken down, and then you'll see the other one go through. So it actually goes around twice per turn. So there's 2 turns, and that's why there's 2 ATPs produced, 1 per turn. So if you look at the diagram on the right here, you can see that we're starting with a pyruvic acid or pyruvate. Remember, that's a 3-carbon. So notice how that 3-carbon is then broken down into what's called acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is a 2-carbon. So we're losing a carbon in pyruvic acid, and the carbon's leaving as carbon dioxide. So that's how you're making carbon dioxide. The carbon from the pyruvic acid leaves. So you also in the process make NADH. And then what you're going to see here is you see an acetyl-CoA, that 2-carbon is going to combine with a 4-carbon, which is called oxaloacetate. And that's how we produce what's called citric acid. And the other name for citric acid is citrate. Then what's going to happen is you're going to see a bunch of what's called decarboxylations. So that means we're losing carbons as carbon dioxide. So that 6-carbon citrate or citric acid is then going to become a 5-carbon, and it's losing a carbon as carbon dioxide. Then that 5-carbon becomes a 4-carbon, and it's losing another carbon as carbon dioxide. Then that 4-carbon is going to have to rearrange itself. It's going to lose energy as ATP and FADH2 and NADH, and then it becomes what we started with, a 4-carbon called oxaloacetate. So just remember that if it's a cycle, whatever the molecule you start with, you have to then regenerate. So that's why we started with oxaloacetate combining with acetyl-CoA. We then had to regenerate oxaloacetate at the end. So just remember the products. So we're breaking down pyruvic acid in the beginning, and we're producing carbon dioxide, NADH, FADH2, and ATP in the process. Now this cycle has to go around once per molecule of pyruvic acid. So therefore it goes around twice per the original glucose that we started with, because that glucose in glycolysis broke down into 2 pyruvic acids. So each pyruvic acid goes around 1 at a time, the cycle. So the carbon dioxide that's produced is being given off as waste, so that's what we exhale. The NADH and FADH2s, they're going to move on to step 3 of aerobic respiration, which is called the electron transport chain. Those NADHs and FADH2s are going to be used to produce a large amount of ATP. And then the 2 ATPs that are produced here, remember 1 per turn, they get used right away by the cell. So just to recap, so there's 2 parts of the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle. The first part, you can see it labeled kind of as A at the top here. So that's when we're taking the pyruvic acid or pyruvate that was produced in glycolysis, and we're breaking it down into a molecule called acetyl-CoA or acetyl-CoA. That's the first part. So we're breaking down pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA, which is a 2-carbon now. Now that acetyl-CoA is going to combine with a 4-carbon called oxaloacetate. That then becomes the first compound produced, which is known as citric acid or citrate. So that's why the Krebs cycle is also known as the citric acid cycle. That then 6-carbon now is going to continue to lose carbons as carbon dioxide to get back to the 4-carbon oxaloacetate that we start with. In the process, we're going to make those high energy compounds, NADH, FADH2, and ATP. So there's 4 products produced by the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. You produce carbon dioxide as waste, and that's what we are exhaling. You produce NADHs and FADH2s, which are going to go to the electron transport chain to be used to make even more ATP molecules. And then also some ATP is produced here. You must go around this twice, 1 for each pyruvic acid that goes through. So remember that in glycolysis, glucose is broken down into 2 pyruvic acids or pyruvates. So in this cycle, only 1 pyruvate can go through the cycle at a time. So at the end of the Krebs cycle, you produce 2 ATP molecules, 1 per turn. So as of right now, we've produced a net of 2 ATP from glycolysis and 2 ATPs from the Krebs cycle. So that's only 4 ATP molecules. The ETC, or electron transport chain, is going to produce a large amount of ATP, much more than these 2 steps before it. And again, this is aerobic respiration. You must have oxygen in the cells in order to go through the citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle or the electron transport chain. The ultimate goal of cell respiration is to break down glucose, which we get in our foods, to produce energy. And the energy is in the form of ATP. So here in the box, you can see the actual totals for 2 turns of the Krebs cycle. So you're actually making 6 carbon dioxides. So that's the 6 carbon dioxides that you see as products in the chemical equation for aerobic respiration. You produce 8 NADHs, 2 FADH2s, and then those are the 2 ATPs that are produced from the 2 turns.